Okay, number 27 is a very good question. And so if you haven't thought about it yet, I want you to pause, stop this video, and think about it. Try to think about, because these are all questions you can ask or you can answer. So think about the answers for this. What you're trying to do is figure out which of these are true statements, and then if they are false, make it where they would be true. Okay? So statement 1, the base b of f of x is 2. So you're like, well, how in the world could I figure that out? So we're talking about the f of x equation right here. I'll bring it up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it from this function notation to a function or a notation maybe you're a little more used to seeing. If you type this into your calculator, it would look like that, and you would have to put in some number for the base if you wanted it to graph. It wouldn't graph both those variables for you. The x is the only thing in the log. The 2 is just being added at the end. Okay? And we need to figure out what is our base. How could we do that? What you're going to want to do is pick one of these points off the graph. You can pick that one, you can pick this one, okay? So that's the or the logarithmic function, the one that's not a flat line. That's g of x. This one's g of x, this one's f of x. Hope you knew that. And if you pick off one of those points, you see for this one, 1, 2, you get the y value is 2, log base b, that's what we don't know, we're trying to solve for b, equals 1, or log base b of 1 plus 2. So then we subtract 2 from both sides. We get 0 equals log base b of 1. So if we switch forms, we get b to the 0 equals 1. Okay, well, what to the 0 equals 1? Anything. If I do 2 to the 0, that's 1. If I do 20 to the 0, that's 1. So how can I know which base I'm dealing with? Let's try a different point. This one up here, 3, 3. See if that one helps us a little more. Spoiler alert, it does. So now we're going to plug in 3 equals log base b of 3 plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides, you get 1 equals log base b of 3. So b to the first power is equal to 3. So now what is b? Okay, b to the first power, that's just b. b is 3. Okay? So that's what our base. The base is not 2, the base is 3. So all of this right here, just showing you that first point doesn't really benefit you in any way, because it tells us what we already know, that any base could work for that particular point, because any base to the base raised to the 0th power is 1, but not every base to the third, or to the first power is 3. So that one was false. It should have been a 3. Okay, what about the range? The range of f of x is all reals. See where this arrow is pointing? It's pointing down. It's going to go that way forever. There's your negative infinity. That's part of our all reals. Range, we're talking about the y values. And then this arrow, although it is flattening out, it's going to keep going up. It's just not going to go up as quickly. And so this thing is going up towards infinity. So the range is all reals. That's true. The solution of f of 1 is 2. Okay. You can just look at the points on the graph. We actually already did that one in red before I scribbled it out, ever so foolishly. You see that point, 1, 2. That's what we plug in. This is f of x. We plug in a 1 for x. And our output, this is what we should get for y, is 2. And that point is on the graph, so that is also a true statement. All right, then the next question, it says the domain of f of x is all reals. I call baloney on that one. Or I'm going to say that that's false. Okay, because it's a logarithmic equation, I know that its domain is going to be limited. What's it limited by? That thing inside the log. We can't take the log of a negative number, or if our base is positive. If our base is 3, we can't take the log of a negative number or 0, so our x needs to be greater than 0. That's our actual domain. So there's number 27. Good question. Really makes you think about how these logs work, what do we plug in, what kind of things do we know. You know, you used to do this stuff when you had things like y equals mx plus b, and you had a point on the graph and you knew the y-intercept. Okay, so they would say the y-intercept is 2. And then they would say the graph includes the point 2 comma 3. And they would make you figure out what is the slope based on those two pieces of information. So you just plug in a 2 here, you'd plug in a 2 here, you plug in a 3 here, and you'd solve for the slope. Something you can do, so that one's a 1/2 slope. Good stuff.